when the kings ruled everywhere. The kings used to go around and say to the factory owners or to the farmers, right, you keep the people busy, and then he would go to the priests and say, and you keep the people stupid. So you kept everyone down, and it's just, we need some sort of major revolution, and I just don't know where it's going to come from. Trouble ahead, I would say. There's trouble ahead. I would feel quite worried. Personally, I'm becoming more settled now because I spent a year and a half writing an autobiography, and that was good therapy for me. And I've settled myself now, so I'm in a better place than I was 2 years ago. So I know where I'm going, I know where I want to be, the future looks bright. Well, the future always looked bright to me, but I was always a little bit worried and insecure, and would I keep working and things like this. But for the planet, I'm in big trouble ahead. The fact that the 1% control everything, and we all know that the corporations are running everything. We all know that the big companies are not paying their taxes. I mean, it just seems like a big, huge mess that everyone, every few years when an Obama comes along, everyone sits there and goes, it's going to change, everything's going to change. And I remember my father, who's a military man, and quite cynical because he's seen a lot of things. So I remember sitting with him when we were all of the family were going, Obama, it's going to be fantastic, the first black man as a president, and he's going to change everything, and he's like us. And my father just laughing at us, saying, you know nothing. I've been to Burning Man a couple of times, and that to me is the closest to some sort of human utopia that you can get in the desert, where you're in very harsh conditions for a week. Everyone thinks that Burning Man's all about, taking drugs and being naked. I mean, it is about that, but it's also about something fundamentally important that we've lost, that if you don't have a drink, but I have food, and I don't have a drink, I'll give you my food and you give me some of your drink. It's a bartering relationship, and humans help each other out, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Nobody asks you, what do you do? That's the first question that everyone's identified now by their job. I mean, there are people who advocate giving, I think they're trying it in maybe Norway or Denmark, they're talking about giving everybody a minimum living wage a month. Sounds like a very good idea to me. Here's 800 euros for everybody. It does seem that there needs to be a huge shake-up at the top, and someone needs to get rid of all of the people, that the same well-educated people, connected people who are in power need to be changed. They need to be changed, and that needs to come from the ground up, from the people, from the community. People are generally good people, aren't we? We're good people. There are a few arseholes and bastards everywhere, but collectively, probably the silent majority are good people. As a human, if you don't have hope, you have nothing, and I'm sure that's true for everybody. Someone living in a slum, and someone in Syria being bombed, if they don't have hope, you have nothing. So I just have hope because it's a natural human trait. Like all of the other things that make us a human, it's one of those things. And in the world I see at the moment, I don't see much hope. But when I go into a smaller community, like I've just come back from Spain, there are people living alternatively down there, that gives me hope, that there are still people that want to change things, that don't want to become part of we call it in English a hamster wheel. You put a little hamster on the wheel, give them some food and they'll keep going. The same with a man or a woman, you give them a bit of money, give them a new iPhone, give them a car, give them a promise of a nice holiday, they'll keep going on the hamster wheel until suddenly their heart gives out. It's not going to be all right. It's going to need something to happen. Big. But hopefully it can be brought about by a Gandhi, or someone in a peaceful way, that we can turn this society upside down, get the 1% down, get a 50-50 back, get people more or less, all right, and then we'll be all right. But if it goes on like it is now and no one does anything, no, we're fucked. Sorry to use that bad word, but we are in trouble. For the edited version, we're in big trouble.